here on a Tuesday night as we come in to talk a little bit about the big one coming up. Yes, sir. Georgia and Tennessee. Right now on our monitor here at our studio, we're watching ESPN, the college football playoff top 25 is going to be revealed tonight. So, who will be atop the college football playoff poll? I guess that's what they call it. Is it a poll or whatever? Rankings, I guess, college football playoff rankings. Is it going to be Tennessee number one or will it be Georgia number one? Now, in the AP poll, Georgia's number one, the Associated Press poll. In the coaches poll, Georgia continues to be number one. In the USA Today poll, Georgia continues to be number one. In most of the major polls, that are produced by different organizations, Georgia continues to be the number one team in the country. But the college football playoff rankings is a completely whole different kind of deal because you have a committee made up of athletic directors, and I guess it's strictly college athletic directors from different programs around the country, and they come together. They meet together. They do some studying. As I adjust my camera here for just a minute, they do some studying, and they look at this, that, and the other, and then they come up with. And this is the initial college football playoff poll or ranking or whatever. This is the first one tonight. So we're counting down the top 25. U.S. Central Florida's 25, Texas 24, Oregon State 23. North Carolina State 22, Wake Forest is 21 as they count down the top 25, and they'll get down to the top, rankings here in just a little while. ESPN will stretch it out as far as they possibly can, bunched in with a bunch of commercials. So what do you think? Is it going to be Tennessee number one in the college football rankings, college football playoff rankings, or will it be Georgia, or will it be Ohio State? Okay, we're going down. Number 20 is Syracuse. 19 is Tulane. 18 is Oklahoma State. 17 is North Carolina. 16 is Illinois. By the way, if you have something you want to say about all this business going on, you can jump in here and ask us a question or make a comment as we're counting down to, I guess on paper, the biggest game ever played in Sanford Stadium this coming Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Georgia taking on Tennessee. It'll be a game between number one and number two. Now, the question is, who's number one and who's number two? What we got? Syracuse, Tulane, Oklahoma State, North Carolina, Illinois. We already gone over that. That's from 20 to 16. Barry Watkins says they ain't taking our goalpost dogs on top. 15 in the top 25, Penn State 15, Utah 14, Kansas State 13, UCLA 12, Ole Miss 11. So Ole Miss, and this is the college football playoff rankings. Now this is the initial one. I think there's 5 others before the determination is made of which will be the the top 4 teams in the college football playoffs that will make the playoffs. This is the initial ranking. So, Georgia, Tennessee, coming up this coming Saturday, 3:30. Number 10 is LSU, 6-2 in the college football playoff rankings, number 10. And they're making it dramatic as they count down. So at least we do number 10. So let's talk a little bit about this game coming up Saturday, and we'll keep our eye on the monitor here to see if in the college football rankings, is Georgia number one or is Tennessee number one? Georgia right now is a 9-point favorite over Tennessee. My inclination is that that's going to shrink as we get closer to game time. Usually does in games like this. You have an initial, the point favorite designation. Number 9 in the college football playoff poll is USC. They're 7-1 on the year. So Georgia right now is a 9-point favorite over Tennessee. That probably is going to shrink. I would suspect Georgia will wind up being like a 6-point favorite over Tennessee. It's only the 25th time in the history of the AP poll that number 1 and number 2 has played in a regular season game. Georgia right now number 1 in the AP poll, Tennessee number 2. This is the first time that these programs have been part of this kind of showdown. Oregon is number 8 in the college football playoff rankings. The reigning national champion Bulldogs will play host to the Volunteers again 3:30 this coming Saturday. The game will be on CBS. TCU is number 7 in the college football rankings. And yeah, Mary, I see that. And if with Oregon at number 8, that helps the cause for the University of Georgia. Georgia, of course, beating Oregon in the first game of the year. And so we're getting ever so closer to the first reveal of the top 6 teams now to be revealed in the college football rankings. I hate to be redundant, but I'm watching it on here on the monitor. And so anyway, back to more important stuff. Tennessee and Georgia. It's going to be a wild scene in Sanford Stadium. And here's what Coach Kirby Smart said to the fans. Coach Smart said, listen, if you're in the stadium and after this game, when this game is over, if you can still talk, you didn't yell enough. In other words, Coach Smart is bound and determined that that stadium be just as loud as possible. You might remember the Arkansas game last year when the noise level in Sanford Stadium really bothered Arkansas at the beginning of the game, caused them to, make several mistakes. And that set the stage for a Georgia rout of Arkansas, which was highly ranked at that time. So Kirby Smart says, come on, I need my guy. I need my fans to make all the noise you can. So, that's what's going to be the thing that Coach Smart's going to look for. And I'm sure he's going to get his wish. Sanford Stadium is going to be wild and crazy. ESPN Game Day, College Game Day is going to be on site on Saturday morning in Athens. SEC Nation on the SEC Network will be in Athens as well, and everybody else. So Alabama's number 6 now in the college football ranking. So Alabama is number 6. Barry has a word. Dog fans need to stop selling their tickets to Tennessee fans. Please stop doing that. Go to the game yourself. These tickets are going for a lot of money, $2,500, $3,000 or whatever. But for the sake of sanity of anybody who's going to be in the stadium this coming Saturday, for the sake of pure sanity, so that we don't have to hear Rocky Top 9,000 times with any kind of volume in Sanford Stadium, please don't sell your tickets to any kind of Tennessee fans. So we're looking at the monitor here. Alabama number 6 in the college football playoff rankings. Nolan Smith, you may have heard about this. Michigan number 5. Michigan is undefeated 8-0. Alabama 7-1. Nolan Smith is out for the rest of the season. In fact, his Georgia football career is now over. Nolan Smith suffered a pectoral injury in the win over Florida. It is a season-ending injury because Nolan's going to have surgery to repair that injury. So that's a big loss. Nolan, an edge rusher for the University of Georgia defense. He's a monster, a play wrecker, just a great player. His college career most probably, is over now. The University of Georgia, he is a senior. So who's going to take up the slack with Nolan Smith on the sidelines? You have Robert Beal, Chaz Chambliss, and Marvin Jones Jr. Now, Marvin Jones has been he's been nicked up. He has some injuries, but he's expected, to have that be in that rotation. So Clemson is number 4. Clemson 8-0. So, yeah, what that means is this: if the college football playoffs began today, Clemson would be in the playoffs, the top 4 teams. Now that's gonna change, of course, in a couple of years or maybe even next year. That's gonna change to a 12-team, college football playoff, system. But right now, it's the top 4. So you have Clemson at 8-0 at number 4, and that was kind of expected. But, I've watched Clemson play, you know, don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but they have not impressed me this year. But there you go. Um, so so Georgia is number 3. Well, hold your hat here. Georgia is number 3 in the initial college football playoff rankings. Seriously. Georgia is number 3. Um, what in the world? So you got Ohio State then and Tennessee. I mean, probably Tennessee is going to be the number 1 team in the college football playoffs. So Georgia's number 3. 2 I could understand. 3? Number 2 is going to be probably Ohio State. Then number 1. Yep, there you go. Ohio State, number 2 in the college football rankings. That means Tennessee is number 1 in the college football rankings or college football playoff rankings. So you have Tennessee 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, and Clemson 4. And there's just one word for that: baloney. Georgia should have been at least number 2. Ohio State. Okay. I'm controlling myself very well, I think. No, I disagree with that completely. Um, completely. So it'll be number 1 Tennessee against number 3 Georgia as far as the college football rankings are concerned. Now the polls still stand. Number 1 Georgia in the AP poll against number 2 Tennessee. But I just and Kirk Herbstreit, he's an Ohio State, guy, and so he's going to give a great defense. Yes, Ohio State needs to be, number 2, and Georgia doesn't need to be anywhere like that. Let's see. Barry says Kirby will use this for motivation. Yes, he will. And rightfully so. No, I disagree with all that business. Can you cut the monitor off? I don't even want to watch it anymore. Now, speaking of the game on Saturday, Nolan Smith is out for the game for the Bulldog. What? Well, I don't mean to be snippy, but the Bulldogs should be at least number 2. I don't know, Hey, but it really doesn't matter what those blue suits say. As far as who the top teams are, you have to do it on the field. And so Georgia will take care of business on Saturday. And then we'll see where they put the Bulldogs in the next college football rankings. Tootie, tootie, tootie. Let's see. Amarius Mims probably is not going to play on Saturday. He was hurt in the Florida game, offensive lineman. A.D. Mitchell still is not going to be back on the field, apparently, for Tennessee. Arian Smith will be on the field for Georgia, and Jalen Carter looks like there'll be no kind of restriction on him, and he'll be back out on the field. So, and there's been a lot of talk about Tennessee's Hendon Hooker. He's having a great season, and there should be a lot of attention given to him. He is supposedly the Heisman Trophy, leader. But listen, I crunched some numbers today. If you put Stetson Bennett and his numbers side by side with Hendon Hooker, you'll be surprised there's not a whole lot of difference. Yeah, I'm not sure that they'll not be Mims will not be playing. It just doesn't look good. Apparently it doesn't look good. And so that's the word out of, the University of Georgia. Now he might play, but it's not. Here's the statement I was given. It doesn't look good for him on Saturday. And apparently A.D. Mitchell is still not available. He had that high ankle sprain and apparently still not available for Georgia. So Hendon Hooker, listen to that. I don't want to overwhelm you with stats and numbers and all that kind of thing. But listen, Hendon Hooker has thrown for 2,338 yards in the 8 games for Tennessee. What? I see that. Resume comparison? No. I don't even want to. Ohio State? No. Anyway, Hooker has thrown for 2,338 yards this season. 2,338 yards. Pretty good. Stetson Bennett has thrown for 2,349 yards. Hello? Hooker has thrown for 21 touchdowns in the 8 games so far this season. Stetson Bennett has thrown for 9 touchdowns. So you can give the edge pretty considerably there to Hendon Hooker. But that's Tennessee's offense. Georgia has a running game. Tennessee has a decent running game as well, but not like Georgia. So when you get down there, you don't necessarily throw it for a touchdown. You let your running backs do the deal. And Hendon Hooker has completed 71% of his passes. Well, Stetson Bennett has completed 68% of his passes. So, you line these guys up against one another, and there's not a whole lot of statistical difference between Tennessee's Hendon Hooker and Georgia's Stetson Bennett. I've talked to some folks, and they almost give you the sense that they believe Tennessee can never be beaten. Tennessee can be beaten. I mean, Tennessee scored, 52 points against Alabama, but they gave up 48. And Georgia's offense is very comparable to Alabama's, if not better. The key, I think, for the game on Saturday is for Georgia to control the ball. Let's run off, several 7-8 minute drives, score some touchdowns, keep that Tennessee offense off the field. Georgia is not going to play zone against these wide receivers from Tennessee like Alabama did. There'll be no zone playing on the field for Georgia this coming Saturday. It's going to be man-to-man, mano a mano for the defensive backs against the wide receivers for Tennessee. And I'm sure there are going to be some other. Georgia's going to play Tennessee differently from anybody else this year, and rightfully so. And Georgia has the horses and hosses to do it. So, what is it? Oh, they're going to talk to Josh Heupel. Well, we'll see you Saturday, Josh. I'm watching the monitor here, and my producer keeps saying, you need to watch this. Boo Corrigan, he's the chairman of this thing, the CFP committee. Boo Corrigan, isn't he the Notre Dame guy? Is he the Notre Dame guy? Well, they know about football. I know. I'm letting my bias show. Hey, but I'm a homer. So anyway. So, you look at the statistically between Georgia and Tennessee, total offense, Tennessee is number 1 in the nation, number 1 in the SEC. They average 553 yards a game. Well, guess what? Georgia's number 2 in the SEC overall in the nation and number 2 in the SEC, averaging 530.1 yards per game. Tennessee averages 7.40 yards per play. Well, Georgia averages 7.24 yards per play. In the defensively, that's where you'll find the difference. Tennessee is number 10 in the SEC in defense and number 82 in the nation overall. They allow 393.6 yards a game. Georgia is number 4, has the number 4 defense in the nation, the number 1 defense in the SEC, giving up only 262.6 yards per game. Now, that's going to be challenged Saturday by Tennessee. But if you stack these two teams together, Georgia is more impressive than Tennessee in many different ways, and just as equal to Tennessee in many different ways. So, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. I've been talking to people. It's almost some of them have the idea, well, Tennessee can never be beaten. Tennessee can be beaten. Absolutely. What Georgia needs to do again, my humble advice, my humble opinion, let's run off 7 or 8 and 9-minute drives, keep Tennessee off the field, score some touchdowns, play good solid defense, get in a half 3 to 4 different 3 and outs, or stopping Tennessee without scoring 3 or 4 times in each half, and Georgia will win this game. In fact, I think Georgia will win. Uh, you're Tennessee's going to score some points, but I don't think you're going to see 52 on Georgia. I don't think that at all. What'd I say? Yeah, I said 44-34. Georgia wins at 44-34. So, let's see what Barry has to say on this. We beat the number 18 by 46 points. Tennessee beat number 6 by 3. Well, I don't know what they're on, but yeah, I get your point. I get your point. There's a Corrigan guy. Is he from, where is he from? Yeah, he's probably from some school. Go Dogs from Tifton, Georgia. That's all we need. Absolutely. Who is this Corrigan guy? Where's he from? I don't know either. Well, he's probably from like Boise State or something, or Missouri State, not to offend the people that follow those schools. But anyway, yeah, I know. Let's see a couple of other notes, and we'll let you get back to watching Jeopardy tonight. Yeah, well, I don't like what I saw in this, but hey, those guys are not going to decide who goes to the playoffs. It's going to be decided on the field. All Georgia has to do is keep winning. So Georgia, Tennessee on Saturday. Brian Harsin has been fired at Auburn. Don't cry for Brian. He gets a $15 million payoff or buyout. Not payoff, but buyout. So he's done. And speculation. By the way, we had a great discussion today with Rusty Manziel from 247 Sports. Rusty is he's the writer, Georgia writer for 247 Sports. Check it out. You can go to our YouTube channel and check out that podcast. We've got it posted. You can go to our Facebook or Instagram page, and you can find a link. You can listen to a part of the podcast there, but you can find a link that'll take you to the entire podcast. It was good. It was good. Rusty is very good. And it's Rusty's opinion that Auburn is going to go after Lane Kiffin. And he thinks that Lane is first on the list for Auburn. What we got here? They literally just asked him why he put Ohio State in front of the Dogs, and he didn't answer the question. Well, Corrigan is the chairman of the committee. I guess he's one vote. I don't know how many's on that committee. We're going to have to do some research. We're going to have to do some research on this. And I think I'm going to apply. I think I'll apply. Why not? So he didn't answer the question. Ohio State, you put Georgia and Ohio State on the field together, and the Bulldogs would win. That's just all there is to it. Are you upset that Alabama is number 6? No. Alabama has a big test with LSU this coming Saturday. That's a 7:00 game on ESPN. Alabama travels to Baton Rouge, night game at LSU. It's going to be tough for Bama. Tough atmosphere. LSU's 6-2. It's going to be a tough game. Alabama has its destiny in its hands. If they run the table, they win the West. If they win, the SEC, then can you keep Alabama out of the top 4? I don't know. It's going to be interesting here. Other SEC games coming up: Kentucky at Missouri, Florida at Texas A&M, the dumpster fire known as Texas A&M. What? Oh, they're talking to Josh Heupel. I don't want to even hear it. Cut that thing off. I know I'm that way, aren't I? I need to be more magnanimous. Is that how you say that? Okay, I need to be more cordial. Let's see, Florida at Texas A&M. Yeah, if Texas A&M fired Jimbo Fisher, $15 million would be a deal because his buyout is what, $86 million for this year? Wow. Tennessee at Georgia, 3:30 on CBS. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and I forget the sideline reporter lady, but she's really good. So, unless somehow, see, we have DirecTV, so you can't really sync up the radio feed with the visual, with the television feed. I can't sync them up. So it's like watching one of those old Japanese movies, where the mouth moves and then the sound comes out. So I'm kind of stuck listening to Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. Now Nessler's good. He's a good man and he's very good at what he does. Gary Danielson, however, that's a topic for another time. So that's 3:30 on CBS. 4:00 game, Liberty University, number 23 in the nation, taking on Arkansas in Fayetteville. That'll be a 4:00 game on the SEC network. Then at 7:00, Alabama at LSU. So once we wear ourselves completely out from watching the Georgia-Tennessee game, when we are completely exhausted and can't talk anymore, we can turn it over and watch Alabama at LSU. Well, Coach Smart said if you can talk after the game, you didn't yell enough. But I assume he means in the stadium, not at your house. Because if you're at your house, your wife or your husband or your children may say, you got to get control of yourself. Let's see. Auburn playing Mississippi State on Saturday. That's 7:30 on ESPN2, and then South Carolina at Vanderbilt on the SEC network at 7:30. Well, so there you go. Again, the college football playoffs, top four. Clemson, not impressive. I'm sorry, a good team, but Clemson, I don't know. They're not impressive to me. Georgia, which should not be number 3. Ohio State should be number 3. Tennessee should be number 2. Georgia should be number 1, but you got number 1, Tennessee. You got number 2, Ohio State, number 3, Georgia, and number 4, Clemson. But again, you win it on the field. You don't win it in the committee room. So that's our report tonight. We'll try to keep you up to date with stuff. We'll be on site in Athens this coming Saturday. Look for some reports on our Instagram page and our Facebook page. And we'll be talking about that game, and we'll be trying to grab some interviews with some folks and getting you ready for the biggest game in history at Sanford Stadium. And that's saying something. That thing is over 100 years old and has seen many, many games. So go Dogs. Let's get ready. Let's rest up for the week. Go Dogs. It's going to be a good one this coming Saturday. All right. Chris Hall here with you on Dogs on Demand. By the way, we appreciate so much Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs, for helping to, they're showing, oh my goodness, they're showing that checkered board end zone thing. And seriously, the black uniforms that Tennessee wears they've got to go. I mean, who came up with that idea? I like the orange and the white pants. Okay? The orange and the white pants, that'll go. And no, they're not getting close to our goalpost. So anyway, they're talking to Josh Heupel. I don't care. All right, guys. I know I'm snippy. I'm sorry. Well, that's what you get when you're a Bulldog fan, and you feel like your team has been disrespected, as our team has been disrespected. We're the defending national champion. We have won every game decisively. Had a little struggle against Missouri, but every team has its struggle, one game that it struggles in. You beat Oregon, which is in the top 10 in the college football rankings, decisively, 49-3, and you wind up being the number 3 team in the college football rankings. Yes, Kirby Smart. I want you to get in the face and in the ears of our guys and rev them up. You are being disrespected by the college football world again. So it's time to take care of business this coming Saturday, and I'm fully confident that Georgia will. I know. I need to chill. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll have some reports coming up this coming Saturday on site from Sanford Stadium. Until then, let's go, Dogs. We'll talk to you again soon.